Welcome to another episode, everyone. Kristi Noem has been exposed after an ICE recruitment investigation scandal has taken place. They're trying to find out who these ICE agents are. Are they white supremacists? Has these people been recruiting white supremacists as ICE agents? Proud Boys as ICE agents. As we know, they are invading the entire country, going around brutalizing people, killing people, beating people, shooting people. They are a Gestapo group, a paramilitary group, manufactured, designed, and put together by none other than Nazi Donald Trump. And they're out here doing Donald Trump's bidding. And it has to stop. Let's get into this. Now, this is my favorite people. Two of my favorite people, Jennifer Welch here on the left, and my girl Pumps. This is I've Had It News, the I've Had It Network News, HIP. They on YouTube. They recently started talking about politics and really expanded their brand. But Jennifer Welch is cutthroat. She is relentless. She's frank, candid, forthright, doesn't give a damn. She calls these people out, and I love it. Now let's expose Kristi Noem and expose ICE for who they really are. White supremacists.
The current operations by ICE, they're not about migrants. They're about terrorizing American citizens. We see, again, almost every day, protesters are shot. We see in Minneapolis, flashbangs on completely innocent people that are exercising their First Amendment right. Kylie put this up. You can see that ICE just goes in and shoots flashbangs. They're using chemical weapons. Like, these people are just standing there. If you're watching, if you're listening, all you're seeing is flashbangs against a group of people that are standing there exercising their First Amendment rights. So my question, and Jennifer and I have talked about this, is who are these people in ICE? Because it seems like the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers, they're pretty quiet right now. My guess is all the white supremacists are currently employed by ICE with their $50,000 signing bonuses. So what does it take to be an ICE agent? I found a fabulous article that a journalist, Laura Jadid, who is anti-MAGA, anti-Trump, she goes in and on a whim, she says, I'm going to apply for an ICE job. So the title of our article, you've heard about who ICE is recruiting. The truth is far worse. I'm the proof. So she starts going through the application process. She goes to the places where they're interviewing people. And the article's great, but if you go through it, you find out this. I thought this was an important statistic. When Donald Trump took office, ICE numbered approximately 10,000. Despite this event and her event, only 150 people came, her interview event. The agency reported 12,000 new recruits in 2025. And what she found out is that she goes and applies. They do not do a background check. They ask her to fill all this stuff out online. She doesn't do it. And she is still hired. So what she determined is that they are not background checking. She even had pot in her system and she was still hired. And then after she put declining the offer, they still came after her and wanted her to take the offer. That's how desperate they are. And they made it very clear in these meetings where they're talking to recruits that it's mostly very liberal cities, San Francisco, Los Angeles, where groups will come and try to stop ICE. So it surprises me there's zero background checks. There zero follow through on background checks, security, drug testing, because they just want warm bodies who are depraved.
Warm bodies who are absolutely depraved. There you have it, absolute proof. Anyone can be hired with ICE. Anyone can be hired by ICE. Anyone, if you have a certain mentality, they're not even doing a background check. They're letting these individuals run around lawless, attack and kill people. They killed Keith Porter Jr., that no one is talking about, of course. Not much outrage about his brutal death. Everyone's instead talking about Renee Nicole Good, who tragically lost her life, shot 3 times in the face by ICE. But as I just reported just yesterday, ICE has killed 5 people this year alone already. This is January 17th, and they've already unalived, killed brutally 5 people this year in 17 days. So this is indeed a white paramilitary group, a Gestapo group that is using Nazi Germany Gestapo tactics to frighten the people in the country. Something needs to be done.
Yes. I think that the biggest red flag that I'm seeing with a lot of this is that the budget for ICE and the manner in which it increased. And if you follow along with what Donald Trump campaigned on, he campaigned on this. Joe Rogan recently said, we just can't have the Gestapo stopping people for their papers. Trump campaigned on that, Joe, and you endorsed him for that. And this is exactly the police state that they want to bring an American public that has been raised and has immense pride in our civil liberties. We have immense pride that we have the First Amendment. We have immense pride that we can say, I think Donald Trump is an absolute abject piece of shit, small hand, teeny weeny motherfucker. That we can say that, and that's our right to say it. And
you're damn
this
right.
ICE
teeny weeny mother sucker. Yeah. That's why I love Jennifer Welch here. This is my girl, boy. Whoa, she be letting this dude have it. Oh, Kank, she be letting him have it. And indeed, we have to expose the injustices that is happening in this country right now before our very eyes. We must all wake up. Trump is pushing a white nationalistic regime, belief, period. He wants the country to adopt or continue and further white nationalism. This is what this entire administration is about and has been about from day one. Make no mistake about it. And now, again, he has these Gestapos, AKA ICE, out here in broad daylight shooting women in the face 3 times with impunity. There's a reason for this. We must expose all of this. Pay attention. Stay tuned and pay attention. We're uncovering it all here.
Whole agency is to erode that. My problem right now is that Democrats are crowdsourcing their morality on this issue, and they are not speaking out in mass saying, we are pro-law enforcement. We believe in law and order. We are the party.
Because the Democrats have no backbone. The Democrats are cowards. They're scared to death of Trump. Period. All of them. Cory Booker, Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, scared to death. And they all need to get out of office fast. Keep Jasmine Crockett. The rest of them can get the hell on.
That wouldn't pardon cop beaters. MAGA is. But this is not a law enforcement agency. This is a domestic terrorist organization masquerading as law enforcement, and we will not take the bait. We actually support cops. We actually support human beings. We actually support a multicultural society. And ICE would hire a dead pig.
Yeah.
That's the qualification that they would do. ICE must be abolished, and Democrats, they have to come out and say it. It's a moderate position right now. Polling has shown, since Democrats love to crowdsource, polling has shown that the desire to abolish ICE among the American public is a moderate position, not a leftist position.
Well, because here's the thing. They want to terrorize American citizens. And I hear from Kristi Noem all the time after she was defending the man that murdered.
So it's a moderate position that people want ICE abolished out of the country, this paramilitary Gestapo group of white supremacists going around frightening everyone in the country and brutalizing people. Meaning that it's not a political issue. It's not leftists saying this, Democrats and just Democrats only, essentially. People on both sides of the aisle want ICE out. Done. Both sides.
Nay, good. She said, well, he's following his training. He's following his training. Well, then you realize there really is no training. And then I stumbled across an article where in 40 cases, ICE agents are putting chokehold on human beings. And that is a banned tactic. And like every law enforcement, you cannot do chokeholds, and they're doing it routinely. So is that their training? Are they being trained in banned tactics? And then I came across this, and this really spoke to who these people are. There was a 16-year-old American citizen that was with his father. ICE put him in a chokehold. And this is according to ProPublica. They put him in a chokehold, stole his phone. And then when he went to go retrieve his phone, they said they didn't have it. And he later found it in a vending machine for used electronics. So it appears that the ICE agents stole his phone and sold it and kept the money and did not give a shit that he was 16, that he was documented, or that he was in a chokehold. Adding insult to injury, they stole his phones. I mean,
so ICE is out here stealing now. Stealing phones, bro. They're not going to go to prison, though. They're not going to be arrested. They're out here stealing people's phones and selling it to a vending machine and keeping the money. ICE. Lawless. They're out here supposedly to protect the law and enforce the law, and instead they're breaking the law. How can you trust them? A Gestapo group that needs to be abolished immediately. Thieves. Wow.
these are the bottom feeders of the world. And so here is a video that was taken in Minneapolis, and I want Jennifer to comment on it because it's the arrogance and it tells you exactly who the people in ICE are.
I don't care what they told you. If you guys get in my way, I will arrest you.
Sir, we're just observing. Please calm down.
You can observe all you want.
I am observing. Do you see me in the way? I am Beth.
You had anger issues as a kid, didn't you? Were your parents present? You should be ashamed of yourself, man.
He is.
I love my job. Thank you.
You love your job?
I can't believe I get paid for this.
Really?
I do this for free.
Really, I get $200K. I'm a physician assistant.
How long did you go to school for that?
7 years.
I went to high school. I make $200K.
People regard me as someone.
So that's who these people are. They would do this job for free, meaning they enjoy terrorizing people while they wear masks. They love the fact that they are making as much money as a graduate degree.
We'll do it for free. Exactly. And that's the whole thing. They're wearing these masks and they're hiding behind these ski masks, or they think that they're concealing themselves. How is this not a paramilitary group?
Because they're rounding up the people that the Trump administration and Stephen Miller hate. It's so gross.
And it goes deeper than just Trump and Stephen Miller hating these people. We have to reconcile in this country. Racism is still so ubiquitous. You get to Bible Belt states, listener, those of you that live abroad that listen, and those of you that live on the coast, the racism that this administration has, they're emboldened to do now, it's always been there incubating this whole time. You can, if you cared enough, listener, to sit down with a African-American friend, if you have any, and ask them, are you surprised by all of this, that this government is doing this? And go, no, this has been my experience in this country for a very long time. My neighborhoods have always been policed like that. Cops have always treated me like that. And this is where I'm coming from with all of this. And this is my mantra in a lot of these episodes, you guys. When we tell ourselves, the lies we tell ourselves that we are a nation of equality, but we leave groups of people vulnerable, we tell ourselves that lie, and we're not protecting the vulnerable, and we're allowing our tax dollars to bully people and to over-police neighborhoods under even Democratic politicians. And then this all happens here. This has been incubating in this country. Trump didn't just create all of this. This has been there. My experience in Oklahoma City, you guys, during Obama administrations, during Joe Biden administrations, when my son was playing AAU basketball, white families with their little white darlings did not want their kids playing with black basketball players. And this is within the last 5 to 6 years I experienced this stuff. And so we have a fundamental problem of a country and messaging that we haven't linked all of these human rights, and that we haven't really taken over the finish line, that we are a multi-faith, multicultural society that embraces that.
Well, yeah, and that's why I love Jennifer, and I appreciate her for saying that. And let me say for myself as a black man that absolutely not. I'm not surprised at the over-policing in black neighborhoods and the killings by police that still transpire to this day as it relates to black people in this country. And the point that she's making is that everyone wants to pretend that they don't see color and that racism has somehow been magically abolished in this country and no longer affects people, and it no longer affects black people. In fact, it's non-existent. And when black people speak about racism, that they're just being victims and crying and trying to shame people and make people feel guilty, instead of acknowledging that what we are saying has credence and validity and substance. Instead, they dismiss it and go on and pretend in the country that everything is okay and that racism does not exist. And if you have not been able to get ahead, it's because of your own innate shortcomings, not because the country is systematically against you. And it's just a bunch of subterfuge that the government employs, and as she indicates, has been employing for many decades, for many generations. And you have to just think for yourself and be a critical thinker. And at the end of the day, understand that white supremacy indeed still dominates the country in every facet of the country, and it must be dismantled and dismantled immediately. And I myself am totally against white supremacy. I'm totally against white racist people. I'm totally against anyone who is racist. And anyone who would pretend that racism does not exist in this country. I'm against you too, because you're disrespecting my people and playing in our faces. We don't appreciate it.
Incubate horrible foreign policy. If you look at Vietnam, if you look at all of the regime changes in the Middle East, all of the regime changes in Latin America, and then all of a sudden they shoot these fishermen. We're like, oh my God, the United States shot people in the Caribbean. The United States has been doing that shit forever. And so it's important as we call out how the mask is off with this administration while the mask is on ice. It's important that we really talk historically about how all of this has been incubated. And our European listeners and international listeners, Australia, they've seen it because they haven't been inside the arrogant American media ecosystem. And they've seen this American arrogance, and they've seen the brutality towards Black people and the injustice and the mistreatment of it. But the one thing I don't know how to do is I don't know how to teach people empathy, because these people, the third of Americans that vote for this man, that triple Trump, that see the shooting of Renee Good and think that that is warranted and that there was somebody's life was in danger when she got shot in the face, they have no empathy. They do not care about other human beings. And I don't know how you take somebody who claims to be this uber religious person, and when it comes to caring for marginalized people, for human rights, they simply don't. They simply do not care if you mention to these people like, hey, this poor kid lives in this rural town and he's gay and his family's mean to him and his church is mean to him. Well, I don't know. That doesn't affect me. I don't know how I culturally, morally don't know how you get people to care for other people.
No, I don't either. And
Well, you don't know. Plumps, you don't know. But I know, I can tell you. I can save a lot of people a lot of heartache, a lot of headache, and a lot of pain trying to understand. Because I see it all of the time. Black people. Black people. My beautiful people. Of all people. Asking on a regular basis, how could they do this? How could they be like this? Trying to understand how people can treat them like this, how people can be this way. And it just never ceases to amaze me that they can still ask this question after all of these years, after all of these generations. When there's ample proof abounds that these individuals are deranged. They have no conscience. They have no empathy. They can't feel what you feel. They can't feel for another human being. They just do not possess the capacity to care for another human being. And you cannot explain it. And you will frustrate yourself, as Jennifer here is frustrated, trying to understand, what can I do to get through to these people? I don't know what I can do. I can't help them. They have no empathy. What am I supposed to say to people who have no empathy? And that's just it. There's nothing that you can say. I can save you a lot of heartache, people. Do not try to reason with these people. What makes sense to you does not make sense to them. What irks you, what has you emotional, what may have you shedding tears, seeing a child die in the street, they don't care. That's how you feel, and because you possess humanity, you can't understand. You cannot fathom for the life of you how come these people have no sympathy or empathy for what you all just witnessed. How come their response and reaction is totally different from yours as a human being? You try to make sense of it and reason. And I hear people say, What's wrong with this person? What's wrong with these people? How could they treat people like this? How could they treat me like this? And they try to change them. They try to convince them to have empathy, to see what they see, to see people the way they see people, to see the world the way that they see the world. And they have a lifetime of sorrow and headaches and heartaches and frustration trying to teach individuals about empathy who just do not possess the capacity to have empathy for anyone. And until you understand that, you're going to be going in circles and going to be upset and frustrated all your life. You cannot reason with them. You cannot try to convince them of your humanity or to have empathy or sympathy for you, to understand your plight in any real way. They don't have the capacity. They fed babies to alligators. They did. They stomped on babies' heads. You can't reason with people like this and try to convince them about your humanity when they have none of their own. It's like you're talking to a different species and they can't relate. I'm serious. The sooner you understand it, the better off you'll be.
To piggyback off what you were saying, the triple Trumpers, overwhelming majority, 80% of evangelical white Christians voted for Trump. I grew up in that world. I grew up in a family like that. I grew up in a community like that. Racism was so ingrained until I got...
Of course, when they say triple Trumpers, they talking about the people who voted for Trump all three times. You only double down, you triple down on Trump. This is your savior, your daddy, your leader. This uncouth Neanderthal who doesn't like anyone who doesn't look and or think like him, which is a white supremacist ideology. Make no mistake about it. And yes, I know that some black people voted for him. Well, you too are white supremacists.
Around other people outside of my community, I didn't even know it was racism. I had to get outside the community to figure all that because it was so ingrained. And in terms of teaching somebody...
Hang on. I want to say something there.
Okay.
They do know it's racism because people regulate their speech. They will say in white circles what they feel is safe to say in racism, but around black people, they won't say it. And this is something that we have to also address because when people have the ability to regulate, when they're all in an all white world and they drop an N-word or they make a racist joke, but they wouldn't say that in front of black people, they know. And we always allow white people off the hook by saying they have no idea it's racist. Well, they do because they're not out screaming. In at least the racists that I've known that have said safe, where they think I'm a safe person to be racist in front of, which I've always called them out. But like these parents that I had the basketball issue with, they never went to the black coach and said, hey, we don't want our white boys playing on this team because we don't like black people. They just went to the white people and said that. And then after the fact, then they claim, I had no idea that was racist. They know if people consciously pick and choose how and where they use their speech, they know. And we mustn't let people off the hook because no other class of people gets let off the hook like this. And letting people off the hook like this is in the same psychological baking of Donald Trump. White impunity. And they know, they went to school. They know you can't drop the N-word in front of black people. They know it's racist.
No, I was saying like as a child, like in elementary school, until
I'm not talking about you, honey. I'm not talking about you personally.
Okay, I'm sorry. No, I agree with what you're saying.
I'm not talking about you, Pumps. I'm talking about like the people that we've known, that we know they regulate. You know, these basketball families.
Oh yeah.
We know how they regulate. I'm not talking about you personally, Pumps. The people who try to provide cover by, and the people around them that enable it and say, well, they don't really think it's racist. In their mind, they don't think it's racist. Well, they know. If somebody can personally self-regulate their ability to say racist things based on who they're around, they know. And that's a part of this danger. And this is where we get really deep into all of this stuff. But the big flashing question comes for all of us right now is, why has Trump gotten away with all this shit?
Right.
Why does he get away with this? Well, a big part of it is white people get away with a lot of shit. And so that's why I jumped in, not about you, Pumps, but about white people that we know, that we grew up around, that claim that they're not racist. And then we allow them to get away with that instead of saying, well, wait a minute, Donna, you sure don't say that stuff around black people, but you sure have no problem saying around me. You certainly know it's racist because you self-regulate your speech. And that's kind of, it's deeper, but I think it's something that I've noticed a lot about white people. They claim they're not racist, yet they still regulate their speech depending upon which crowd they're around.
No, I can confirm.
Yeah, so in other words, your white friends are behind your back calling you all kinds of names. Well, of course, we know this already, but they're not going to say it to your face. So, of course, Jennifer here, I don't have to repeat what she's saying. You are intelligent enough to pick it up, and she's articulate enough to convey her message so that you can pick it up. You know, they know. Yeah. It's good that she's saying what she said. We can't let them get away with this whole, I don't even think they know what they're doing. I don't even really think they know what they're saying. It's just so ingrained in them. It's just so embedded in them that they don't even know what they're doing. No, they know. They self-regulate their vernacular. They talk a certain way amongst themselves, amongst their own crowd, and they talk a certain way when they're amongst another crowd. That alone means that they know that the language that they use amongst themselves is offensive to this group. This group will take umbrage to that. That's why they don't use that language with that group. They use it with their own group. So they know. You're not getting away with this shit anymore. We're calling you out.
From that, absolutely. And I think in terms of teaching empathy, you have to have a diverse culture, or these people never are around anybody but white people, and they all share the same opinion. That's why diversity is so important. That's why appreciating multiculturalism is so important, because these people are around a homogenous group. And then something that I'm super anxious to see the results of. There was a huge ICE data breach. So after the shooting of Renee Good and all the fuckery that ICE is doing, and so many questions, who are these people? Are they white supremacists? How are they trained? So a leak was made of up to 45 names, numbers, identifying markers, contact of these ICE workers. And the site says, we're going to release this. And what I'm anxious to see is, how do you link the people that were now employed by ICE? What is their background? What's their criminal record? What's their history online? Are they radical white supremacists? Those kind of things. So we have a site that's going to go do all this. They're going to do the hard work for us. And I'm anxious to hear that. So then on the heels of this site saying we're going to make an announcement, they were cyber attacked, and the ICE founder said the website was overwhelmed by malicious web traffic after the Daily Beast reported that a huge cache of personal IDs had been linked to the site. Here's the thing. I read online, and in this article right here, it says massive ICE goons ID halted by cyber attack from Russia. So my first thought was, why would Russia care? Russia wants the United States of America to continue to pull itself apart. They don't have to come in and do anything because we're creating our own civil war between factions. And I just thought, again, Russia is controlling so much of our policy. You know, they've got Donald Trump because they've got the Bubba picture and video or whatever, but they have a vested interest in the United States of America just fighting against itself. I thought that was all stunning.
Yeah, I completely agree. And we all know, I mean, these ICE thugs, we all know these are the worst of the worst. These are the people that are, consume the manosphere. And there are really great men, really great, even white men in this country. I don't want to beat up on a particular, brand of people. And I say that right now because it's a time for white men in this country that are real protectors of the marginalized, that use their privilege for good. And it is going to take an army of decent, good, unbroken people to stand hand in hand to take on these monsters that have taken over our country. And we have to remember, it's very important that nobody says, God, can you believe Trump is doing all of this? He campaigned on this. This ICE stuff, he campaigned on it. This is a campaign promise delivered. And we waved our hands.
And that's what people, yes. And that's why a lot of people can't understand, including myself, why people are so shocked that all of this has come to fruition. Trump made it clear what he was going to do. Not only that, you had a 4-year preview. He was already in the White House. You already know what kind of president he is. You already know that he lied about a stolen election and tried to take over the government. But because you hate black people so much, you still had to vote for him. Because you could not see yourself voting for not only a woman, Kamala Harris, but a black woman. That's what happened. I mean, we all know that. Tell your lies to somebody else. So all these people were upset, these farmers and poor people, because the system of white supremacy is now turning on you, because eventually it eats itself, and it doesn't care about anyone who doesn't resemble them precisely. That includes white people. You benefit from white supremacy, generally speaking. But personally, if you're not one of them, they don't care about you and will get you out of the way.
Did our part when we were starting this podcast, that this is what was going to happen. And it's happening. And you have Joe Rogan recently talking about, we just can't have the Gestapo. And so I hope that more people that really, really care about other human beings and quit calling, human beings illegal and quit demonizing them, and can stand up for our multicultural society. Because here's the thing, we're fucked up as a country. I mean, international listeners, I get it. We're arrogant, we're loud, we're ethnocentric, guilty. But we're also fucking cool, right? And the one thing we learned when we went to school here, grade school, was about the Statue of Liberty. Greeting.
And I'm just going to say for the record real quick that the video is about to end, and I'm just going to say, so we're clear, I do not believe that black people have any allies. I'll dig deep into that. at some point, but they all have proven to not care about our plight after all. It's always been a ploy and a ruse. Black people are so loving and caring and forgiving that we accept all of these, the Dean Withers of the world, acting like Jane Elliott, acting like they're with us and that they support us, and they can never really know what goes on anyway. They can never know, and they always prove not to have our backs after all. And I said all that to say that Jennifer Welch, color me crazy, but she's probably the only one that I actually believe in, that I actually believe everything that she says from her soul and from my soul, that I believe that she's not racist. I believe that she cares about Black people and every kind of people. I believe that about her. I believe that, which is saying a whole lot, man, because I'm telling you, it's hard to convince me. As I said, she's about the only one that I do believe. The rest, I don't believe none of. I don't believe none of them. And you better not either.
Refugees and the marginalized, and embracing that we are a melting pot and that we are a multicultural society. And maybe there's 1/3, 3 out of 10 racist, unempathetic, hypocritical, freak show Christians, okay? They're there. But 70% of us, 7 out of 10, dig the shit out of this country. We dig the shit out of our multiculturalism. And I'll be goddamned if I'm going to let these pink arm, low T, and freak show Christian women like Riley Gaines and Erica Kirk take away the advancement of women in this country and take away our ability to embrace and enjoy multiculturalism and do what real Christians are supposed to do. Why I, the lifelong unapologetic atheist, have more conviction.
She always calling them pink arm, bro. She be tripping. I love it. I love her. Woo, I love her. She be tripping. She be calling them pink arm all the time. She be tripping. Oh.
About standing up for the marginalized, then these freak shows on Fox should tell you everything you need to know about their religion. It is performative bullshit. It is a for-profit religion. All right. I think that's all we have, right, Pumps?
Yep. Please like this.
Yeah, Jennifer, let them know, girl. Exactly. You fake ass motherfucking Christians. There's no hate like Christian love. All these religious wars. And remember old girl calling around and trying to get help from the churches and everybody turning her down. These fake ass religious people in the country that are really racist. It's really a white supremacy group too, bro. They really racist in these churches. All of them. And they further white supremacy, man. Ooh, I guess I'm just letting it all. I'm just like, that's what it is. So Kristi Noem exposed for hiring white supremacists to work for ICE, the Gestapo paramilitary group manufactured by none other than Nazi lover Donald Trump. Out here brutalizing you and your families. Well, make no mistake about it. The reason that they are brutalizing everyone is because they're white supremacists. The administration knows it. They support them. They want them to be this way. Bottom line. So we have to stick together and come together. And for, the few white people that may be with us and may be with the plight, cool. I stand with you. You stand with us. Be ready to give your lives like we've been giving our lives, and we are ready to continue to give our lives for our freedom. That's what it's going to take to dismantle white supremacy. Make no mistake about it. Either you're with us or you're not. And 99.9999999% of y'all are not with us. But 99.999999999% of my people don't know this. Stay safe and stay free. Power to the people.